This was really weird. Saad got confronted by a student saying that Zionism is a form of identity politics, and it seems like he didn't know anything about what identity politics actually is. And Saad educates him. Check it out.
How do you think that Zionism is not a form of identity politics when it's like one of the most binding factors on the right, especially right now?
The fact that you hold to an identity doesn't mean that you're supporting identity politics. If I said people who live in Israel and if they come to MIT should have preferential treatment in admissions, that's identity politics. If you say you're wearing a cross, right?
Mhm.
That cross is advertising your identity. But, and that's perfectly fine. But you're not then saying, because I'm wearing that cross, give me unique preference over the other people in this room who are not wearing that cross. So no one is questioning the fact, as I mentioned to one of the earlier people, that identity formation is part of who we are. So I am Lebanese Jew, and I'm happy with that. But I don't deserve any accolades or any punishments for that identity. If I lived in Lebanon, my head goes out if I that identity. So that's all I'm saying. So Zionism, of course, it is identity based, but the argument is that there are 56 Islamic countries that exist around the world precisely because they are organized around the Islamic faith. Surely, a people that have had a right to that land for thousands of years could have a region the size of New Jersey that they call their own. That's all it is. That doesn't mean that in my supporting the right of Israel to exist, I am being uh, contradictory because I rail against identity politics. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but wouldn't that be converging like identity politics and DEI? Because there's a difference for sure. You're like claiming that you get something because of your identity compared to binding together with other people. Like, let's say on the right wing, if you're not a Zionist, that would still be like people would push you away from their groups because you're not a part of their identity.
So the question is what?
So wouldn't that be identity politics? Like if you're a right winger and someone isn't a Zionist, you push them away, which happens now.
Yeah, identity politics, as I uh, uh, rail against, is the use of your identity in adjudicating limited resources. There are 17 places to get into MIT. We should pick the best students. It shouldn't be because you are this or that. That's identity politics. That doesn't mean that the 17 people that we pick don't have identities that define them, right? So railing against identity politics doesn't mean that personal identities cease to exist. All that it means is don't use that identity to either punish others or reward others. That's all.
All right,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Yes.
It's an honor to meet you and have you.
All right, so that was that, and it was a brilliant answer, but I think it is sort of necessary to mention. This is something that a lot of people don't understand about identity politics. Is it's not only on the left; it's also on the right. Identity politics is in I'm this, therefore I'm better. So therefore I need to get X, Y, and Z. And so a lot of people will say, oh, that's only a left wing thing. No, it actually happens on the right very often. People that are very far right will say, I'm white or I'm whatever. I'm saying, even like Islamists, for example, I'm Muslim, therefore X, Y, Z, and you have to treat me a certain way. You are an infidel, and that's why I need to treat you a certain way. And this guy is saying that, for instance, Zionism is the problem and is identity politics. People can identify as you can identify as something. It's not a problem. The problem is where you start saying, I'm X, that's why you have to do this, this, and that. I'm this person, and therefore I need to get preferential treatment. I'm applying to college A, and because I'm a black person, or because I'm an Asian, or because I'm a minority, or whatever, you have to let me in, right? Maybe those aren't such good examples. The point is, when people try to gain benefit or put somebody else down based off of their identity, that's playing identity politics. For more, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help us make more of these videos, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JewishUncensored. You can also go to our channel memberships page and join there as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.